People of the Purple Butterfly here, otherwise known as People 7 on Twitter and YouTube, people elsewhere on the internet. My blog can be located at purplebutterfly-people.blogspot.com and get some soaps, people.etsy.com. It's Rent Week. I really need you to do that. In the meantime, I'm going to make myself a mold out of a Pringles can, and this is how I start. I put my Pringles in that bag because if it waits for me to eat it, I'll be waiting a week or two from now because I don't really eat chips like that. So what you're going to do is take your top, take the plastic part off the top, take the bottom, and take a serrated, like a paring knife, whatever, and you just kind of like score it. Don't cut it. Score it. Then you stick it in, and you aim the knife towards the metal part that you're cutting off, and that way you could just kind of like saw off because it's halfway scored through the little part. That way you have a nice clean edge. Okay, now you're going to take the top. Oh, also I rinse mine, so that makes it a little bit softer. You can actually peel off the aluminum part because of the water. But I rinse it, and initially when I did that, I, filled it up while the bottom was still on there, so it makes it easier to cut, and dumped it into one of my measuring containers, and found out these hold exactly 32 ounces, even though on the bottom it says 5.96, because that's the weight of the dry ingredients that's in there instead of liquid, which will give you a whole different measurement. Now what I'm going to do is take a little teeny piece of plastic wrap. Doesn't even have to be neat, but you do have to get it on here nice and smooth, because that's going to be the base that protects your soap. Now, the tricky part is getting the freezer paper in there in a seamless fashion. So that's what I'm here to show you now. You want to move your plastic to the bottom. You take your freezer paper, already pulled it out, and measured it again, and then literally tore off a piece here, but that still leaves me with an overlap here. So what you're going to do is you're going to take it and wrap it around your can, and do that a couple of times together, just to make sure it's smooth. Because you're going to cut off the overlap and the overhang at the same time. So if you look real close, you'll tell I got paper here and it ends over here. So when I put it inside the can, it's going to curve around and make a mess of my soap. We don't want that. So what I want to do is make sure it starts and stops at the same spot. So I just literally take the middle of where that paper is overhanging, make myself a score line, or a cut line rather. Then I'm going to slide it up just so gently. That way I don't accidentally cut my can. And continue on that way. And you'll see why in a second. Okay. Now this should be the last time. Oh, and take your cheap scissors or some paper scissors or some school scissors. Don't use your fabric scissors for this, because you'll ruin a perfectly good pair of scissors. And definitely don't use your hair scissors for this. Now grab it like this at the top. That way you can still see that line. And go straight through. About two of these, by the way. Now, you will notice something. Little pieces fell out. Yeah. That's the overhang that was on the inside and on the outside. And now I'm left with an absolute smooth line. So when I put it in here and spread it out, the ends will actually butt right there, preventing that overhang. And when you pour your soap, you won't have that seam down the middle of your soap. And an easier way to get it in here would be to do a funnel type step. Like take this part, or sometimes I just kind of stretch it out so that way it's not in such a hurry to do that coil. So then when you put it in there, you can just kind of get it going. And also make sure you have enough that is sticking out on top, so that way when you pour your soap in, first of all, it won't touch any part of the aluminum, and secondly, say for instance, soap wants to be real friendly with the containers in and not come out, you got something that's ripped to pour it out. But if you look real close, you will see that it's going to meet just gently overhang, but not such an overhang that it causes a crease in your soap. So that's ready to go, and then I just take the bottom and pull that back up, like so. Sometimes I put a rubber band on there, sometimes I don't. And then I'm ready to go to the next can, which, as you can tell, this piece of paper really, really needs it. So the reason why I go around the outside of the can is because when you eyeball it from the inside and take a guess, then what if you guess too short or you guess too much, and then you still end up with the same problem. And then when you have a piece of paper that literally got ripped and part of it's going this way and some of it's crooked, this method allows you to have an even piece of paper on both sides. Okay. So, and I got it in there with the plastic wrap. I'm going to move that out my way because that'll just cause a buckle. But you get the general gist, and then when you put the soap in, you don't have to worry about. Okay, see, look how uneven that is. Oh, you can't see it. That piece of paper is actually going this way, and this one is going at an angle. So when you do this, you give yourself a nice smooth liner that can be reused for this method. So, you know, if your soap isn't too highly fragrant and, you know, you don't tear it up getting the soap out of there and the crease paper's in one piece, you can reuse it. But if not, this is a simple method, so you can always redo that. See what I'm saying? So that's a nice, straight line. And then, because of this method, you could do this all day. Just as, hey, I'm prepping for when I do so-and-so. You know, not calling it busy work, but, you know, it will occupy your time if you can't soap right away. This will give you stuff to do in preparation thereof. And like I said, you don't want to use your real good scissors, but if you got a pair of scissors like these, then you have to know where exactly to cut too, because like if I get to a certain point, these scissors won't cut anything. So it's like I got to keep the cut right in between this part right here and this part right here, because up here, as you can tell, these are some, we don't even know why we still have them in the house type scissors. So then we just slide that on in there. Oh, well, that's the side I ripped, so we're going to go this way because that's a smoother edge. And ta-da, that is ready to go without that pesky overhang. In fact, if I show you the inside, you can see there is literally no overhang. It's going to stop right there on the equipment. Now, that's that. I am making face soaps today, and instead of the plastic container, I figured I'd try the Pringles can that I rinsed out and everything. And then when I went to get my Pringles can, apparently I threw it away somewhere down the line thinking, oh, well, I've eaten the chips, and, you know. So this time I purposely bought some Pringles. I'm going to enjoy these over the next week. I got regular and cheddar cheese. I bought basically 2 different color cans, so that way if I put one type of soap in one, another type in another, I know which can's in which. But apparently as, hey, this is a snack, I didn't bother to look at what flavor I bought. But those are 2 flavors I like, so I'm going to be enjoying those while I'm watching my soap come to fruition in this format. So don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and stay blessed. Bye now.